This is going to be a little bit painful for me, but it has to be done. Oof. So I was just sitting back and admiring this tank as I do kind of on a daily basis because it's so much fun to watch and I absolutely love the fish in here. But as I was enjoying this tank, I realized that it really is in need of a major maintenance session. I need to do a lot of trimming and replanting and kind of just clearing things out so more light can get down into the aquarium because it's getting fairly dark in there at the moment. But as I was thinking about it, I also realized that it's been over 200 days now since I set this up. So it's also perfect time to share with you guys a little bit of an update. So that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna do some maintenance, talk to you guys about the tank, show you everything that I'm doing to get it back to its former glory. And I've also got one piece of equipment that I want to set up on this tank as well. Let me show you. So I got this little Wavemaker from Hygger. This one isn't sponsored or anything. I bought this with my own money, but you guys know that I love Hygger products. So I'm excited to try this out. And I've thought for a while that this tank could use a Wavemaker because I really want to get more flow kind of across the front of the aquarium. I think it'd be really cool to see all of the grasses moving and that kind of thing. So I'm excited to try this one out, but I think I'm gonna do the maintenance first and we can set this up a little later on in the video. But I'm excited to do this. I hope you guys are excited to join me. Thanks for being here. Let's get started. I think first I'm going to remove all of the floating plants. And I don't think I'm gonna save any of these. I've just got so many in the studio now that I just really don't need these. And I kind of want to just really open this up. And I think I'm kind of done with the floating plants look for now. So I can always grab some from other tanks if I change my mind. But for today, they're all gonna go. And for those of you that are new to the channel, this is my rainbow riverbed aquarium because there are 6 beautiful rainbow fish in here, which hence the name Rainbow Riverbed. And there's also a pretty big group of Corydoras. There's Serbi Corys and also peppered Corys in here. I think there are 11 of them between the 2 different types. And then there are also a ton of Danios in here. I think 25, maybe 26. I'm not really sure their numbers at this point. And I know they've been breeding, so there could be a lot more as well. And then there's also 3 little honey gourami fry, which are actually getting quite a bit bigger now. So that's pretty exciting. But I'll just quickly show you guys what the tank looked like right after setup. And then 40 days into the setup. And then in the last video, I showed you 100 days into the setup. And now here we are at 200 days. So you can really see from that footage how much the tank has grown. And I think I am going to keep this tank running for at least a year, but I am excited to get in here and really freshen it up a little bit. Okay, so that's all the floating plants gone, and you can really see how overgrown all of these grasses and the Hygrophila angustifolia is now. Look at this Hygrophila that's been growing out of the top. I think it's cool, but it just looks a little kind of scraggly for me. So I think I'm going to remove those next, but it's fun to just see this, all of this growth. Like, it makes me really happy to just see, you know, that the aquarium is doing so well and the plants are just thriving like this. So it's exciting. It's a little bit of a maze of growth in here. And I want to trim it fairly far down, I think, but I want to leave a couple leaves so the plant, you know, can keep growing. Here, look at that. That is a big out of tank growth right there. So check out how this one is growing. If you can see that. It's kind of, this must have come loose at some point for my planting, and now it's kind of growing just off of the wood and everything there. Oh, pretty flowers. Hope you guys can see those. Got a couple purple flowers on it. Super cool. But I'm just gonna pull that one right out. Very cool. And look at those beautiful purple flowers. It always takes me a little bit to start doing maintenance because it's kind of hard to, you know, cut back the plants that are growing so well. But once you start doing it, it is pretty fun because getting kind of hands-on in the aquarium, you really get to see and feel things and find things like those cool little flowers we just saw. Now, this next part is going to be a little bit painful for me. I'm going to have to trim the Vallisneria. So this is jungle val, I assume, but it's kind of just pooling here on the surface and blocking out light. I'm sure this stuff is rooted in really well, but still just kind of want to be a little gentle with it. Look at that. It's so long. So cool to see. And this is going to be a little bit painful for me, but it has to be done. Oof. Look at that one. Huge. It's probably as long as the tank. Okay, there we go. That was quite a haircut for the Vallisneria. You can see there's still so much hygrophila up at the surface. So I'm actually going to plug in this surface skimmer while I do this. I'm seeing some duckweed and there's a little bit of plant debris collecting on the surface at the moment. And I've kind of had this thing running on this tank during the day for the last few months because it was still kind of balancing and I was getting a decent amount of like oil on the surface just from, you know, collecting proteins and feeding the tank and plant stuff decaying. That's what causes that oily surface film. But this is also, surface skimmer like this is a great way to get rid of duckweed and that kind of stuff that collects on the top of the tank. So plug it in. But as you can see, there already is quite a lot more light getting into the tank. And now I'm gonna get in here and just start trimming the Hygrophila angustifolia. And I think that's really gonna open it up. So I'm excited to see, you know, how that starts to change things. So let's get to it. Well, that certainly brought a lot of light into the aquarium. I see a few more places I think I want to trim, maybe, but I'm going to go through all of the plants I got and get them ready for a little bit of replanting. And I want to try to get as many in the back as I can, because one struggle that I've had with this aquarium is enough light getting back there, because I've always kind of had floating plants there. So I think I'm going to replant pretty heavily back there because I really want that green curtain. So I'm going to start there with the biggest pieces and kind of work my way forward. So I used almost all of the trimmings here, and I tried to fill out kind of this area, this central area, and then the furthest corner over here. And I really like how it's looking. The plants are gonna look a little weird until they kind of, you know, settle in and get used to growing how they're now growing. So the leaves, especially on the Hygrophila, are gonna, you know, turn over and change as they start growing upwards. But hopefully that's really gonna fill out the tank quite a bit. And I like all of the trimmings in the back too. I'm hoping that they really stay nice and bushy back there, but only time will tell with that. So I think next thing is going to be a big water change. So the water change is done, and I just got done cleaning out the pre-filter here for the aquarium. All of these sponges are nice and fresh. And this filter is an Oase Biomaster 350. I really love this filter, and having this kind of pre-filter on it like this makes it really easy to keep it clean. I generally take this out and just squeeze out the sponges into a bucket like this, maybe every 2 weeks or so. Or whenever I do a water change. So between 2 weeks and a month, I just kind of keep an eye on the flow rate, and if it's getting lower, then I take this out and clean it. And this is the water that I squeezed the sponges out into. It's nice and full of waste from the aquarium. This stuff is really, really good. If you have houseplants in your house, give them a little bit of this water. They will totally love it. All right, I'm taking a little break and just sitting back and looking at what I've done so far. And I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks really good. And I think the whole thing actually feels a little bit more green just because it's brighter, you know, that bright green color, which is this tank. And sitting back and looking at it a little bit, it almost makes me feel like I could use some pops of red in here. So I'll think about that more. Let me know what you guys think about that down in the comments. I think the next thing I'm going to do is just a quick scrape on the glass on the inside. You can see the water line, it is a little bit dirty here. So I'm going to do that, and then we can open up the new Wavemaker. I just put a fresh blade on the algae scraper, so this is about to be extra satisfying. By the way, if you guys like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, the Cardinals guy design with Terracotta Aquarium on the back, my wife and I made this together, and it's up on my website. There's a link in the description and on the screen right now, so you can get it for yourself if you want. Okay, let's get into this Wavemaker. And as I said before, I'm not sponsored or anything. I bought this with my own money, but I am a Higer affiliate, so there will be a link down in the description. So if you like this Wavemaker and you want to buy it for yourself, the channel will get a little bit of a kickback if you go and buy it with my link. So let's get in here and see what we got. All right, little cord, plug it in, which is to be expected, and then the Wavemaker itself. See, I really wanted a nice kind of compact one like this because I did have one Wavemaker before, and it ended up sucking up a fish because there was just too much space for the fish to get into. So I've been kind of off Wavemakers for a little while because of that, but I'm excited to try this one out. I want something that is not super, super strong, but just enough to increase that water flow across the front. So this thing is super easy to set up. Basically, there's a controller that's kind of, I'll figure that out in a second, but it seems like you can do a lot with it. And then that plugs into the Wavemaker itself, and that plugs into your outlet. So let's get this set up. So I'm just going to put it like a few inches below the water. Just like that, and it just magnetizes right onto the side of the tank. All right, now I'm going to plug it in and see what happens. So I'm seeing quite a lot of movement in all of the plants now. Seems like the fish are kind of getting used to the increased flow. Oh wow, can you guys see all of the Danios kind of in the center there? The rainbow fish are getting a little more interested. I think they should like this flow quite a bit. Should be kind of like enrichment for them. And the Corys will really like the flow as well. The only fish that won't really like the flow is the honey Gouramis, but there's plenty of space for them to be able to get out of the flow. I'm just gonna mess around with this controller a little bit, figure out all of the adjustments I can make. But I think I'm gonna let the aquarium settle in overnight. I've been disturbing the fish all day today, so I'm gonna let them chill out for a while and we can see how everyone is doing first thing in the morning. So it's the next morning and I'm really happy with how the tank is looking. It feels a lot more open. There's a whole lot more light getting down into the aquarium and I can really see the fish, especially the Danios. Before they were all able to kind of hide in the back really well and just totally stay out of sight. But now they're more in the center of the tank. And I have noticed since setting up the Wavemaker that they are kind of coming more into the flow area. So it's cool to see that. I think that's a good sign that they're really enjoying it. And I spent some time last night really messing around with the Wavemaker and getting the settings throughout the day how I want. Basically, the way the Wavemaker works is that you can schedule it for different time periods throughout the day, and you can change the flow rate, the type of wave, and that kind of thing. So basically, I have it just set on the lowest setting consistently throughout the day because I didn't want to set it super high straight off the bat. I want to let the fish, get used to it and see how it affects the tank before I ramp it up if I choose to do so. But it seems like all of the fish are really enjoying it. The rainbow fish especially, they're kind of behind me right now, but they've been moving into the flow pretty consistently. And I think it is going to be really good for them because rainbow fish are generally from faster moving rivers and that kind of thing. So hopefully it will be good for them. It's also going to make sure the water is as oxygenated as it can be because it's creating quite a lot of ripple across the surface. And it's doing exactly what I wanted. It's really making these grasses kind of sway in the foreground here. So I'm really happy with it thus far. It's pretty reasonably priced too. And again, there's a link in the description if you want to get it for yourself. But it's pretty satisfying to do all of that maintenance and get the tank back to this point because I'm really excited now to see it grow even more. Before I did all the maintenance, I was a little bit concerned about how much it was going to grow. And doing this, I feel like I really have set it up to continue to grow really successfully. And I am obligated to share that 2 more of the rainbow fish have been named. The 2 turquoise rainbows, they're kind of over here at the moment, they're named Kate and Mariah now. They're named after 2 of my old coworkers from a previous job. So Kate and Mariah, I hope you're watching. Those rainbow fish are named after you. But I'm curious what you guys think about all of this maintenance. I'll put a picture up of the tank before maintenance and then a picture after maintenance. Did you like that overgrown look like it was before, or do you think it looks better now? Let me know down in the comments. I'm curious what you guys think. But that's the video, guys. I hope you really enjoyed the 200-day update on the Rainbow Riverbed and the maintenance that went along with it. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like and make sure you subscribe if you want to see what I'm working on next. All right, thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.